Welcome to today's video, everybody. And by the thumbnail, you know that this is a big one. This car is well over $100,000. This thing cost me everything that I had in my bank account, but it was well worth it. And before we do any talking, you can probably hear in the background it's idling. So let's walk over and show you the new car. You smoking here? I can't see it. Look, what's up? Hot boxing. Well, guys, this is my money pit car. The new Formula Drift J2 for now, S15. 2JZ, capable of 1,000 horsepower, custom made for me in Australia from my good friend Lewis. Absolute mad lad. And get a load of this custom interior. Woo! Loving this. All right, we got a lot of things to explain. Damn, bro. She's a beast. I cannot wait to take this to the track. But we have a lot of work to get done. We're gonna talk about it in a bit. Let me cool down the car and, oh my God. All right, so you've seen the car now and I bet you're excited, but I need to tell you about my title sponsor that I'm working with for this year's Formula Drift J2 series. And some of you guys actually guessed this, so kudos to you, but we're working with Gamer Subs. You guys know how much I love this stuff. I drink this daily. It is awesome. And we're doing something awesome for you guys as well. We are giving away free samples once again. Now, if you guys took advantage of it the first time, you're not gonna be able to do it this time, but anyone who missed out, you can get 100% free samples. We're giving away a couple thousand of them. Free shipping, free, like it's 100% free. I don't know, it's free, guys. Free samples, links are down in the description and in the top of the comment section. Take advantage of it, get yourself some and try it, see if it works for you. I love this stuff. There's so many different flavors and I haven't tried a flavor that I didn't like yet. Right now I'm drinking Dragon Fruit Punch, but some of my favorites are the lemonade, the pineapple cocktail, and the black cherry. They are amazing. But anyways, guys, like I said, we're working with them for this year for Formula Drift J2 series, one of the best companies I've ever worked with, and we would not have been able to purchase this car if it wasn't for them and jumping on board and supporting me and being my title sponsor this year. So if you guys want to show your support, grab yourself some Gamer Subs, link is down in the description. Not only does Gamer Subs have their energy drinks, they also sell some pretty sick merch. This is all based off their Waifu Cup series. You've been all asking in the comment section where this hoodie came from. It's from Gamer Subs, so head to gamersubs.gg, take advantage of that free sample pack, and also grab yourself a sick hoodie. These things are awesome. Grab yourself a Waifu Cup. This thing's pretty sick too. I love it. But yeah, like I said, massive thank you to Gamer Subs, and let's get back to the car. So now that the car's cooled down, parked it under the bay, let's go over this thing. Anyone with a keen eye knows that you actually saw this car a fair few videos back when I said that, oh, my new drift build, blah, 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 blah. I wish it was one of these cars, but it's not. And I specifically said the S15. Well, it was sitting there the whole time. None of these cars are mine. None of these are my new drift car. As much as I wish it was like that S15 or something like that, it is not. So anyone with a keen eye would have actually, you could see in the video kind of the start of the logo on the quarter panel there, the quarter glass. But no one really picked up on it. I was kind of surprised, at least no one that I saw in the comment section. But this thing looks rough. Let's talk about that. So This is a full competition FD spec built S15 from Formants down in New South Wales, Australia. The owner of Formants is Lewis, and he is one of the investors and owners of Sidex Japan. I'm sorry if I got a little bit of that information wrong, Lewis, if you're watching this. But you'll get to meet him a little bit later on. He'll be visiting over here in Japan in a little bit. But right now, he's struggling to get into the country, waiting for visa stuff and the embassy and whatnot. But that aside, let's go over this thing. So, S15, the best drift car, proven in and out of every competition. It's like the best car to start with in Formula Drift or any like D1 GP. They're still used to this day. It's pretty much the best drift car. And the powerhouse that's under the hood, man, I really need to throw in like a Fast and Furious clip here because this thing looks rough from the outside, but when you pop the hood, things get serious, like serious. I am really excited about this setup. We've got a massive Borg Warner there. As you guys know, we work with Garrett, so we are going to be switching that out for a brand new Garrett G Series. We've got a 2JZ. It is still 3 liter. It's not a stroker, which means reliability. I'm excited about that. That hopefully means I don't have to have like 10 spare engines on the side. It's already got an electric power steering conversion, which is good, but also may not be good. I'm not sure yet. I need to test that. I've never driven a car with power with electric steering, so I'm kind of curious to see what that's like. If it feels good, then that's great. I won't have any issues when we want to put like a plasma man intake manifold on this and dealing with the whole 2JZ power steering pump issues, and also throwing belts on these with power steering pump setups like the mechanical ones is a big issue. So the electric power steering thing is kind of maybe a nice touch. Although I have seen on Daigo's cars that whenever he does electric power steering, he has 2 of these units. So maybe we should look at 2, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll do some testing later on. Full Wisefab. Rear, full PBM. It's all set up for anti-lag. You can see this huge hose that goes in here where the idle air control valve is. That goes under to a massive solenoid down under there, which then feeds into here. So that's going to be controlling our anti-lag through the ECU. Now, right now, the car does have a Heltec. And this interior is amazing, by the way. We do have a Heltec. We're going to be switching that out for a Link, of course, and making a bunch of upgrades and changes in here just with the whole engine management stuff. And we definitely need to get a better digital dash. That's like a really old Heltec one. But let's just talk about the interior right now. Lewis completely surprised me. He was like, oh yeah, we're just going to do some touch-ups and stuff and, you know, do some body work to fix some dents from the previous person who drove it, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But he did pink LEDs in here, put my logo up here, this lights up. This lights up. The custom switchboard here. CCD in Australia are the guys. I think it's like Custom Clusters Distribution. I'm not sure on the abbreviation there, but that's based in New South Wales, Australia too. So it's super cool because obviously I'm Australian. I'm living in Japan. I'm starting to compete at the pro level, throwing myself in the deep end so that I can level up even faster and learn more. And I'm in a car that was built in Australia. I think this chassis even came from Australia. I don't think this was an import. This was like maybe an ADM delivered model, so that's even cooler. But yeah, hang on, we can look at the thing right here. Oh, it doesn't have an import plate. It actually has a Japanese plate. Huh, maybe this wasn't an Australian import. Made in, I don't know. I don't know how to tell by looking at this plate. But anyways, I don't see an import plate, but maybe this came from Japan. I don't know. We'll ask Lewis later. Maybe I should have found out those details before I sent all that money. But Lewis also surprised me with the quarter glass custom laser etched carbon fiber. Super nice touch. I love it. But yeah, everything in the interior. We got to change a bunch of stuff. The Hydra is an inline one. Matty Hill, the previous driver of this car, you're crazy for using an inline. I don't know why you, like, I just don't know. Why is there an inline in this? I don't know. So we're going to be doing a dual caliper setup on this. I'm not talking smack whatsoever. I'm just like, obviously, I've bought this car as a complete package. I did not have the time to find a car here in Japan and get it all built from zero. It would have cost me so much more money. And it also just would have taken too much time. And there's no way I would have been able to compete this year if we didn't find something like this. So I am super appreciative of Lewis. This car has been in his possession for a very long time, and I believe it had some special sentimental value to Lewis because I think he's just had it for so long. But yeah, it was just super, super cool that this thing has Australian history, was built in Australia. I'm an Australian living in Japan, and we're now going to be competing in this. So super cool. Back onto the car though, we need to talk about, we got a G-Force transmission, Thing's awesome. I've never driven with one before until just then with burnouts and stuff, but we'll get the hang of that after some practice laps. Like I said, all the wiring's super nice and tidy. We shouldn't have to redo too much when we do the link. I think we can just repin it and put the link straight in, so that should be awesome. Full weld in, proper FD spec cage. We've got the fuel cell on the back and everything's kind of set up back here for a rear mount radiator, which is something we're gonna have to tackle very, very quickly for when we have to start driving this thing. And then what else? Oh, I forgot the most important thing. We got a Winters quick change in the back, boys. Yeah, full quick change. This thing literally has so much money on it. It's exactly what I would have built here in Japan. So like, it was such a good deal for me not to pass up, and it was the only way that I was going to be able to compete. For those of you that are a little disappointed that we're not starting from the bottom and building something from scratch, don't be disappointed, because we're obviously still got a lot of build work to do on this. There's a lot that we have to change. First of all, like the aero that's on this Origin Labo aero kit, it's got to go. I can't run that. You guys know who I got to represent. So we got to change all the aero on this car. Everything is coming off. It's going to look like a skeleton. We got to redo a bunch of stuff. We got to fix up some stuff. The doors are a little sad, a little dented. But anyways, let's talk about the history of this car. It's super cool. So there's a guy in Australia called Matty Hill. He's a pretty pro level guy. From what I understand, he's always been piloting this car for performance over there. And this thing actually beat Andrew Gray at the World Time Attack Drift Challenge. So the fact that this car spent its entire life in Australia, competed over there, beat a Formula Drift Japan 3-time champion in Australia in its hometown, home territory, and is now over here and in my possession, and we're going to be competing in Formula Drift Japan, is super cool in my opinion. It's got really cool history. Now, Matty Hill, he's a little bit of a crazy driver. If you guys down in New South Wales know about him, you know he's a crazy driver. He's a good driver, and this is all set up to his specs, so we got to change a bunch of stuff. Luckily though, Matty Hill and me, we seem to share one thing in common, which is height, so the seating position's perfect. We do have some Australian-made Velo seats in there. Those got to come out. We got to put brides in there, you guys know, or burrito, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, this thing is pretty much a sit-in. Right now, it's a sit-in and go drift car. We need to get it tuned though. There are some discrepancies between the E85 that we get here in Japan, because we can only import it in barrels. But we want to make sure everything's all good there, and altitude, air, and things are just different. You should always, even though this was tuned in Australia, you should always get it retuned here in Japan just to make sure everything's okay with the fuel that we use here. So it's on E85. We've got dual pumps in the rear, dual fuel lines that come up into either side of the fuel rail, and a single return. It's got some pretty cool coolant mods right now with the front radiator, but we are going to be changing that to a rear, like I said. So yeah, I'm really excited. This is the most powerful car that I have ever owned, the most expensive car I have ever owned, and it has the most, I guess it's about to have the most sentimental value that I've ever had on any of my cars, which is insane to think about. I don't really know what else to say, except thank you to you guys, because this would not be possible if it wasn't for you guys tuning in and watching my videos every day, following along for the journey. And yeah, this is where it's led us. We now have, I don't know actually what the power figures were of this thing. I suspect right now it's making anywhere from 800 to 850 horsepower. It's a fully forged built motor, by the way, so it's good for abuse. But I think it's capable of making 1,000 horsepower quite comfortably, especially with this turbo setup. I'm not sure. I can't remember what videos I saw of this car, but I do believe at one point on the dyno it did make over that. But, I don't know. We won't know until we start putting it on the dyno, but we're changing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm back inside the car and I want to show you guys the startup sequence for this thing. So we flick this switch over here. We then got to push this kill switch twice. Then we got the engine start button. We got to turn the ignition on. You should turn steering on once the engine's running. Interior light, we've got our windows here. Look at this. Yeah, we still got electric windows in this. It's kind of cool. That's a luxury. Yeah, pretty much. Clutch in, make sure I'm in neutral, foot on the brake, because there's no handbrake on this thing. Let's start her up. Straight to life. Listen to that. Woo! She sounds loud. She's is rowdy, boys. We got our air-fuel ratio here, engine coolant temp, oil pressure, fuel pressure, and boost. Definitely want a newer cluster on this, that's for sure. And then to shut it off, so this is the emergency switch, which is here. There's also an emergency switch out here, right there. But we don't use that unless in case of emergency. We switch off the ignition, and the car shuts off. We've obviously got our interior light, which is nice. And then we switch this off so the battery doesn't drain or anything. But that's that. Car is, it's kind of like super simple, but it's not. I really like it. Obviously we have a lot of changes to make, and I've said that multiple times now. But right now, if we just got this thing retuned, we could go shred. And we might just go and do that for a little bit, just to get the feel of the car first before we start making all these big changes. I wanted to come over here and just check out these lines. Damn. Definitely left some marks. They'll be there for a while. I love that Fusto shop is literally like in the middle of nowhere out here in Fukushima. We have no problem with complaints, be as loud as you want. It's epic, and it's huge. Absolute dream shop. The only thing that scares me about this location is the earthquakes. It's not friendly out here when it comes to that. Well, all of that aside, guys, I hope you're excited for the new S15 on the channel. We've got 3 now, and this one makes more power than the other 2 combined. The blue and the pink one, this thing's definitely pushing way above those 2, so that's kind of crazy to think about. I'm a little scared, but we're jumping in the deep end, and we might as well jump in the deep end with a car that makes me jump in the deep end even harder. So I'm really excited. I'm super hyped about how much we're gonna learn in the first couple of rounds and all the seat time that we're gonna get. And this is actually a really good opportunity for me to just touch on why I decided to do FDJ2 and not stick to a bunch of grassroots comps. And now we've got a big power setup car for it. It definitely, I mean, it should look like it to you guys. It's definitely looking like it to me, but I am throwing myself in the deepest end I've ever been in. And the reason is like we were going to get to FDJ2 no matter what in the future. So ripping off the Band-Aid now and doing it straight away it's not really making a difference. In fact, the difference that it is making is that I'm probably going to get to pro level and drive in the Formula Drift Japan series a lot quicker this way, because I'm going to be learning way faster than I would have if I was just driving my, Yashio Factory S15 and a bunch of grassroots stuff, and then finally driving in J2, and then finally from J2 getting into pro. I just think this is a much faster way to get there. And the way that I learn, I thrive in the deep end. And I've said this before, but I love that because it's the quickest way for me to learn and get good at something. So why not throw myself in even harder with a fully set up car? So if that kind of makes sense to you guys, like we could have done a whole bunch of grassroots stuff, but we're going to still keep doing a bunch of grassroots stuff in the pink car. So don't think you're missing out on that. But we're also going to be doing FD in this one. There is still so much to talk about with the FD program and everything. And before I go though, I am going to say that I am going to be working with Sidex Japan. They're going to be my team at Formula Drift J2. They're going to be helping and supporting me, being my mechanics and all that kind of stuff, and helping me build and change anything on this car that we need to. So Sidex Japan will be my official team that I will be joining for Formula Drift. But that kind of wraps up everything. And I just want to say once again a massive thank you to each and every one of you for watching my videos. A massive thank you to GamerSupps, because we would not be able to purchase this car if it wasn't for their support in the Formula Drift program this year. And yeah, I'm just so thankful. I'm pinching myself thinking that we're waking up from a dream every day, but thank you. And I'm so excited to jump into this deep end with you guys supporting me. And hopefully not destroy the car. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash the like button, write a comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you're most excited about with the S15. Bunch of cool build videos and changes coming to this thing, so keep an eye out for that. And we got hardly any time to crunch to the next round. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Ciao.
You smoking here?
I can't see anything! Look! What's up? Hot boxing!